Coming to you from the My Little Falls studio, here in beautiful Little Falls, New York. It's your host, Scott Kinville, and another episode of Marty's Illegal Stick.
Hey, what's up, hockey fans, and welcome to episode number 50 of Marty's Illegal Stick, recorded here on Wednesday, November 3rd of 2021. I can't believe we've hit episode 50. This is incredible. It really is. By the way, in case anybody couldn't tell, I'm still at home. I'm on the IR list until hopefully tomorrow when I'll get cleared to go back to do normal activities. And next week, I'll be able to join Dave in the studio.
In a wheelchair.
I'm getting lonely. What I've done is I've set up your chair in effigy right here. So, so occasionally I'll switch to this and just make like you're here, right?
You know what? You know what would have been great? If you'd have just made something out of me like a scarecrow.
Yeah.
Scarecrow.
Yeah, I could take those off of Main Street and put them up there.
Yeah,
put one there,
exactly.
Yeah.
That'd have been great. Well, as everybody knows, that is our trusty sidekick and producer, Dave the Save Warner. Dave went to his first hockey game last week. So how was it?
There wasn't. No. Remember, I used to go to the Springfield Indians growing up, and then. My wife reminded me that I had actually taken her to a game in Biloxi 20 years ago with my son, which I had forgotten about.
So you went to your first game in a while then?
Well, I thought it was her first game, right? And by the third period, she's talking about, take his legs out, get it, knock him down, get into the game. I'm like, okay, who is this?
Well, at least she was proper. I mean, it was a chippy game. Got to that point.
But she wanted a little bit more chipping going on. There's no doubt about that.
Can they fight? I'm always asked that question. I'm like, they can, but they're going to get a game and another game.
Right.
Well, not only that, on the college level, it's kind of useless because everybody's wearing face cages anyway. So it's really pointless.
Yeah. But you could get a little bit more physical on the checks, right? A little bit,
Yeah. And as we saw what happened too on the weekend too, they got a little chippy for a while. But anyways, Professor, how you doing?
Yes, good. How are you?
I'm good. Like I said, I can't wait to get back into the regular swing of things here. How was your weekend of hockey?
Busy, always busy.
I know.
It never stops. It seems like I live at the ABC Center, so it's like I'm always there.
There could be worse places,
I guess. I mean, I don't know. But, things are good. I watched some good hockey over the weekend and, I got to watch my son. And my son's going out to Rochester this weekend. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. But hopefully he'll do well, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Very good. And our other co-host, who has got his genuine old-school Puck the Virus shirt. I love it. It's the Macho Dom. Dom Real.
Traveler's clock. That's retro. That's legit. It's a piece of hockey history.
Yeah, that is.
I'm back I have a setup again now that I'm back I converted one of my spare rooms into a pod studio. I got my desk.
Nice.
So we're looking ready to rock, which would be good.
Our friend Barry Shelley's going to get jealous of you having that clock. He's gonna,
Yeah, it's unfortunately, there's a big crack in one side, but as things that are 20-something years old, that tends to not be perfect. It still works. I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to bring our guest in. Our guest is the president of the Original Hockey Hall of Fame in Kingston, Ontario. Oh, a little problem with the feed there. I'll keep talking about it anyway. Anyways, this guy, he's got some great stories. I was talking with him Monday night in preparation for the show. And, it's funny because, and I'm sure he'll tell you, but people don't realize that there are two Hockey Hall of Fames. So I'm going to bring him right in. It's the president of the Original Hockey Hall of Fame, Mr. Larry Paquette. Larry, what's going on?
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it. Great to be with you. Episode 50, milestone.
Yes, you are part of a milestone episode.
Gonna put that plaque on the wall.
I was just gonna say maybe we'll have to be a part of the Original Hockey Hall of Fame now. So Larry, how long you been?
Sorry, I was gonna say I just apologize to your viewers in advance if things sound out of sync from my end. I'm just having a little bit of an audio issue, but if you want, I can kind of dive right into things and kind of let your viewers know a little bit about our Hall of Fame, because a lot of people don't know about it, like you said.
Absolutely.
Kind of an interesting story and kind of good and bad and up and down over the years. But basically, I guess to start partway through the story, in the 1940s, the NHL decided to establish a Hockey Hall of Fame once and for all. And they decided to establish it in Kingston because at that time, there was a lot of different cities that were kind of claiming to have the first game played there, kind of like Cooperstown in baseball terms. And so Kingston was kind of on that radar. And there was a gentleman kind of at the epicenter of that, James Sutherland. He was a real innovator in hockey in the early days, and he was pushing for the Hall of Fame to be here in Kingston, Ontario. And so he subsequently convinced the NHL governors that it should be here, and that's what happened in 1943. The 6 teams decided, we're going to go forward. We're going to try to have some construction done on a building, hopefully, and have an actual Hall of Fame. So, like I said, it's a bit of a winding story, but just to give you a little bit of background, that's really important and key to our whole story. I mentioned about this gentleman, James Sutherland. So, in the early days of hockey, and when I say early days, I mean like the 1910s, 20s, and 30s. He was often referred to as the father of hockey because this guy, he did everything in the sport. He coached very successfully. He was a convener of many leagues and sort of organized many leagues across Ontario and across Canada. So he was really looked up to in the hockey community. And I think that's a real big reason why the Hall of Fame got here, is because he had so much cachet in the hockey community. He'd done so much to build the sport that they decided, you know what, if we believe anybody, we believe this fella. So we're going to kind of go with his lead. And that's how it ended up becoming the original Hockey Hall of Fame. Not initially called that. It was initially called the International Hockey Hall of Fame. And subsequently we changed names a few years ago. But sort of circling back to the story, James Sutherland was a real innovator in the game. Just to touch on a couple of things that are kind of neat that still exist today is substitutions as the play goes on. Thank God for those. I'm sure every player would say. But at one time, it was only when there was a stoppage in play. There's that. The 20-minute periods is something that he instituted. And there was just even the names of the positions in the game. So, I mean, this guy is at his fingerprints all over the early days of the sport. And as I said, it ended up sort of culminating in the 1940s with the Hall of Fame initially being located in our city.
Wow. I mean, and,
nice.
And in those early days too, you had mentioned the positions and all that. Actually, they had 7 players per side, correct, with a rover, if I'm not mistaken. And there was also no forward passing, correct?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. I apologize, but
no, that's okay. In the early going, they had 7 players per side, which one of them was known as a rover, was basically the guy who went all over the place, really. And there was also no forward passing, which, if you can kind of imagine that in terms today, no stretch passes, no nothing like that. It was all skating.
There's a couple other real interesting things to kind of tell the background of our Hall of Fame. So in the 1940s, obviously when it was established in 1943, it was in the middle of the Second World War. So clearly not a lot was going to go on during those years. And then subsequently after the war, it was kind of like a stumbling economy, as you can imagine, in Canada, in the US. So things were, for the most part, kind of put on the back burner. And a number of years went by. But even in those years, as they crept into the 40s, into the 50s, funny enough, there was inductions done, even though there wasn't a physical building, which kind of sounds odd at the time, or odd now, I guess. But they just wanted to kind of move the process forward. And even in that initial class, like there's names, in the first couple of years, there's names that everybody in the hockey world would know, like especially when you're thinking of trophies in the league. There was Frank Calder, there was Hobie Baker, George Vezina, Art Ross, and Lord Stanley, obviously after the Stanley Cup. So there was some inductions done in the late 40s, early 50s, and the group that was organizing the Hall of Fame, they tried to just move it forward, but unfortunately, as it ended up being, there just wasn't enough money raised before the 6 teams in the NHL got a little antsy and wanted to move it to one of the cities in the NHL. So, and as a side note too, the NHL did try to help the Hall, because we're located right in the middle of Montreal and Toronto. And of course, in those days, the only method for NHL teams was by train. So if there was a team in Toronto and they were headed to Montreal, they oftentimes would stop in Kingston during these years, and vice versa. Another team would stop, and you might have a game on a random Wednesday night like tonight between the Bruins and the Rangers, full NHL teams, to try to raise some money towards the Hall of Fame. So
that's cool.
It's kind of got a cool story behind it. And as I said, as it worked out, unfortunately, it didn't end up coming to pass to actually have the site here with the NHL teams. So when it got into the 1950s, the NHL decided they want to have it in one of the 6 cities. And Conn Smythe, the owner of the Leafs at the time, was really pushing for Toronto, and that's what ended up happening. But the group here locally didn't want to just let all this work die, so they eventually had a building opened up, and it's been in existence ever since. So it's been about 65 years that the building opened 65 years ago, and still continues today.
That's awesome. Really cool. Really cool. And actually, there is a documentary about that story. It's called The Father of Hockey. And it's you can watch it for free, actually, on an app called Tuba TV. So if you're ever looking to get more information about that, watch that documentary. It's super interesting. So, Larry, I wanted to ask you, when the Hockey Hall of Fame, as most people know, is open, obviously, in Toronto. Is there any kind of like a rivalry between the two Hall of Fames?
No, there's really not. There's no, I guess, like you guys know, you're all rabid hockey fans. Like for there to really be a rivalry, there's got to be a competition. And, we're realistic and not naive to think that we're a real heavy competition for the Hall of Fame in Toronto. We're a fraction of the size and obviously have a fraction of the budget. But although frustrating to the people here, I'm sure in those early years when they saw it slip through their grasp and it went to Toronto.
He'll be back in just a second, folks. We were experiencing some technical difficulties.
Don't blame it on us.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
We are not.
There he is. All right.
Sorry, guys.
All good.
It just dropped me. But just to pick up where I was kind of leaving off there, the Hall of Fame in Toronto, it's a great site. There's no animosity between the two. And in fact, the 2 guys that you see out on the ice every spring, usually in non-COVID times, the keepers of the Cup, Phil Pritchard and Craig Campbell, I've known them for probably 30 years. Good guys. If we ever need a picture, if we ever have a display that we could use a jersey for, those guys are always good to hook us up. There's not a lot that we can kind of return the favor on, but at any rate, we appreciate all their help and we get along, great with those guys. So we highly recommend going there as well.
That's great. That's so good that, you guys work together like that too, because it just makes it so much more enjoyable for the fan, really. So with your hall, I know you do have some unique artifacts in there. And I was looking at your website. Tell us a little bit about those, starting with, I think, the square puck, because I couldn't even imagine that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. some of the artifacts we have, I guess you'd almost call it like a little bit more of a historical feel. Like we have current items. We try to, keep as current as we can for kids, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of items in the kind of golden era of hockey, but I guess a lot of the marquee items are kind of in the early days when our hall in those years really got a lot of, I guess, respect from people in the hockey world that would donate items of, looking back, are pretty huge in the scheme of things. But just to
Boy, he's got a serious connection
Yes.
issue. He has connection issues.
Well, that's all right, because
He's
you know
got-
what? Because then we can just sit here and pick on each other.
sorry, fellas.
That's okay.
Yeah, so, sorry about that. I was just going to say, like some of the key items, we've got the oldest puck that is known, 1886 it was used. It ended up being a square puck, but what they had was an Indian rubber ball. And because it would, obviously be hard to control, they sort of chiseled off the sides of it, and it had more or less a square look to it. So they called it a square puck. So we've actually got the original puck, and a stick from a couple of years later, 1880s. The oldest jersey known, 1894, from one of the teams that played in that very first game.
Wow.
And then, like I said, we've kind of got something from every era. We've got Gordie Howe game worn jerseys, Johnny Bauer, Rocket Richard, John Beliveau, even Wayne Gretzky rookie jersey, and a few things that are a little more contemporary, I guess you'd say. I got to tell you one quick story, and hopefully I won't get dropped again by my internet. I apologize. But Wayne Gretzky. So we used to have a display, not completely dedicated to him, but what it had was, when he was 12 years old in Pee Wee, he scored some ungodly amount of goals, like 460 goals. So he'd score, 8 one game and 1 the next, and 3 and then 7. And so someone from his team in Pee Wee had a chart where they would chart the number of goals in each game and each opponent. Make a long story short, this was about 4 or 5 years ago. Kirk Muller, that you probably recognize the name from the NHL.
Sure.
Kirk's a great guy. He's from Kingston. He was going through the hall with his brother, and he took a picture of this chart and he sent it to Gretzky. Gretzky got right back and he said, "Where in the hell did you find that?" And he said, "I'm in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Kingston. They have it in one of their displays." He'd never seen it before, so he thought it was the greatest thing.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And I tell you, I was looking at the pictures of that original stick that he was talking about, and you know what? It almost looks like a field hockey stick, very kind of curved. It's quite the sight, actually. So Larry, with the Kingston connection, I know, like you said, Kirk Muller. What other players have come that you have artifacts for in the hall, and any interesting stories about that?
Yeah. We've got a real long history. It's not the biggest city, I guess now we're probably 120,000, but it's not the biggest city in comparison to Montreal or Toronto, or obviously a lot of cities in Canada, even for that matter. But we produced an unusual amount of NHLers, and the really kind of cool part from a Kingston perspective is that these guys have all done pretty substantial, not every one of them, of course, but we have a display in the Hall of Fame. It's the Stanley Cup winning goals display. And after doing exhaustive research, one of our historians found that Kingston is the only place to have 5 players come from that had scored game-winning goals in the Stanley Cup Finals. And
wow.
So we have a display dedicated to these 5 guys, but it sort of goes beyond that, where Jana Heffert, the first time the Canadian women won a gold medal, she scored the game-winning goal. The biggest tournament in Canada, aside from in the junior level, is the Memorial Cup. And we just had a whole slew of players, from Taylor Hall to Doug Gilmore to a lot of different players, either sort of win tournament MVP or score winning goals, and it's just kind of a crazy knack. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but there's been a lot of guys come through here over the years and done pretty well in the NHL for themselves. So it's got a real long history that way, going back to, I guess, the 20s, 30s. Every decade there's been 2 or 3 or 5 players in the league that have been from here, and so I think that's just added to the kind of lore of our area as a real hockey hotbed. So it's a good story to tell, and there's a lot of history behind it.
And there is one person in particular we wanted to talk about too, who's got some connections to the original Hall, and I know you want to talk about him. Don Cherry, the world famous Don Cherry. He's done quite a bit of work for the Hall, hasn't he?
Yeah, Don is a great guy. I think when I was talking to you the other night briefly, I had mentioned, it's 2 different people that you see, right? And like a lot of cases, you might see a TV personality, and away from the camera, they're completely different. So Don is exactly that guy, just real kind of calm, mild-mannered guy away from the camera. When they flip the lights on, the guy comes to life, obviously, and it's unbelievable.
But gremlin after midnight.
That's an understatement, right? But he's been a huge supporter of the Hall for probably 25, 30 years. We have his whole display dedicated to him. He's given us a couple of the loud jackets that he used to wear on set.
Yes,
that's
the
great.
Rochester Americans. So we've got one of his Rochester jerseys. He coached there. He gave us quite a bit of Bruins material when he coached there as well. So he's, and this sums up Don Cherry in a heartbeat, where he would never want any fanfare. He would never want any credit for anything. So the odd time we've had an event and we've put out an invitation to him thinking that he may come, and oftentimes he has, but he'd be the guy that would just sneak in the back door just as it's happening, because he wouldn't want to create any scene or any commotion or anything like that to distract from anything. And that's the type of guy he is. So yeah, we've been real fortunate to be connected with Don for a lot of years. I've been able to meet him a few different times in a few different rinks, just by chance, and had some great conversations. So tremendous guy, and I understand you guys are kind of in his corner. You're fans of the way he rolls, kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely,
absolutely.
And I'll tell you, being here in the States, like I was telling you, we were actually fortunate enough to get CKWS out of Kingston, Ontario.
Yep.
We were growing up on cable, and so a lot of us, we grew up on Hockey Night in Canada. Yep. That was our introduction, right? And to be able to see Don Cherry every weekend, that was, as anybody who knows who's ever watched Coach's Corner, that's must-see TV.
Oh yeah.
Back then, that was just almost better than the game itself. But how about events that go on at the Hall every year? Do you guys do anything in particular?
If I heard you correctly, so what we have going on each year at our Hall of Fame, there's a couple of annual events. So the first game that was ever played here was in 1886 between Queen's University and the Royal Military College. Both those institutions are right in the city, and it's the oldest hockey rivalry in the world. So it's happened every year from 1886 till now, and so they still play university hockey against each other. And there's one game that gets singled out during February that they call the Carr Harris Cup. And it's kind of the bragging rights game between those two universities, but it also is in remembrance of that first game in 1886. So it actually started in 1986, the 100-year anniversary, and has continued ever since. The other event that happens the same week is a little more unique. It is the rules, the stick, the puck, and even the dress of the 1886 game. We have a little tournament between 3 teams. We have some university students from Queen's University. We have some cadets from the Royal Military College. And we have a third team that's comprised of military personnel from a city that's a couple hours away. They come in every year. They play a little round robin tournament, and like I said, it's pretty unique event because they're using 1886 rules, which is a little hard to get your head around at first because there's a lot of back passing. There wasn't forward passing at the time, so it's kind of like rugby almost, where you can pass it laterally or behind you, but not ahead. A lot of different rules to get used to, and we have referees that back then they had a bell rather than a whistle, so we incorporate that, and that game's been going on 60 years now. So it's just a quick hour and a half afternoon. We usually get, I don't know, 400 or 500 spectators down there if it's not too frigid of a day. And so those are kind of key events over the year. And the only other thing that we're involved in is there's usually a West Point RMC, the Royal Military College game. Every second year it would be here in Kingston. So we are usually a little bit involved in that as well. And you can imagine a pile of cadets coming in from West Point and everyone from this Royal Military.
I tell you, that would be so awesome. Wouldn't it, guys, to play a game 1886 rules? Just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it.
I don't know. It's funny. When he just mentioned that cadet thing, I forgot. My cousin Brad played in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he went to West Point.
No kidding. That's really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
I'll tell you what, though. Here's the
more
deal.
than 10 years ago.
If we play this game, we got to play it with the 1886 style skates too.
Oh boy. No.
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 All right. Well, I'll tell you what then. Let's talk about say today or this week. Larry, your son is the video coach for the Toronto Marlies, and looks like he'll be coming to town this weekend.
Yeah, that's right. Just by coincidence, we talked about that the other night when we were on the phone. My son played junior hockey as a goalie. He had a pretty good junior career. He had some D3 offers that he weighed, but he decided to come back to school locally. So then as soon as he was done school, he was lucky. He was fortunate. He got right back into hockey as a video coach with the local Ontario Hockey League team here. Did that for a few years, and he was also a goalie coach of the university team, and worked with a lot of pro goalies with instruction, that sort of thing. And so he's over the last few years, it evolved with the Frontenacs. I guess he must have impressed a few people. He got invited to do the same job with Hockey Canada this summer for their under 18, under 20 camp. And from there, he got an offer to work for the Toronto Marlies in the American Hockey League. So he's sort of living the dream. Well, he's not sort of. He is living the dream. Yeah. I talked to him and I just said, listen, enjoy. I know you're busy. I know you don't have a lot of time, but every once in a while, stand back and smell the roses, because I said it's like getting paid for nothing, right? I mean, you're working hard, but you love what you're doing, and you're getting paid to be in the hockey world. So as I mentioned the other night to you, he's ironically enough, you mentioned you would be at the Utica game this weekend, and the Marlies happen to be in town to visit. So a bit of a connection there between us, I guess, too.
Nice. Absolutely. Yeah, that's looking forward to having those guys in town, because it's always a good game too between Utica and the Marlies. It's always so much fun. So, Larry, how do we find the Original Hockey Hall of Fame on the internet?
So our website, which is like a lot of websites, kind of always evolving and trying to get bigger and better. You can find the Original Hockey Hall of Fame, just www.originalhockeyhalloffame.com. And we're trying to work in a virtual tour, because right now, as we speak, our situation is we're located in a 4-pad rink, which is great. The only downside is we're in a city building, and we don't have any staff on site. So it's kind of open to the public when we are open. And so right now we've got the brakes on everything, just waiting for things to open up a little bit further so that we can have people come and go and not have to worry about, their safety in any way, kind of thing in the COVID world. So you can certainly find us on the internet. That website's going to get bigger and better as we go along. As I said, we're going to try to incorporate like a virtual tour so that if you can't get there in person, you can kind of meander around. In fact, there's a little drone footage on the website that comes right from the highway and comes right in the front door of the rink and up the stairs and into the building. So you might want to check that out. It's probably worth a look. If you're ever in Kingston or over this way, you're more than welcome to come visit the Hall of Fame if you're in the vicinity. Love to have you.
Absolutely.
That's the border's open the 8th.
Yeah. And I got your phone number so I can let you know we're coming. I can give you a warning. Well, Larry, we appreciate you coming on and taking the time to come on and talk about the Hall of Fame with us. This has been a real pleasure for us. And like I said, if there's anything we can ever do for you to help promote the Hall, just let us know, because it's a great thing. And like I said, we really appreciate you coming on.
Sorry. Yeah, thanks very much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I apologize about the technical difficulties a few times.
No problem.
We'll get that all smoothed out, and if you want to have me back on down the road, we can probably cover a bunch of other things too. So
absolutely,
anytime, it would be a pleasure. Thanks again for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Thank
Larry.
you.
Appreciate it. All right, that was Larry Paquette, the president of the original Hockey Hall of Fame. That's interesting. See, because like I said, I'm a history nut as it is.
Yeah.
So I love that stuff so much.
I wouldn't mind going out to see that game, or just to walk around the facility.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just that square puck and the stick. I mean, you want to go play the game, but I mean, not wearing those skates, I won't do. I don't even know if I would be able to play the game with passing backwards and.
Oh no way!
You know what I mean? The old school rules. I mean, that's
I'm barely
insane.
skate on new skates. Are you kidding?
There is a video on YouTube. Who's that? Coach Jeremy from that How to Hockey.
Oh, he's awesome.
Isn't he though? And
he's awesome.
Dude, he gets like 10 pairs of skates, and it was all from different eras, right? From like modern day all the way back. I think he had them from like 1920. And so he's, ripping around the ice in the brand new,
PCM
tax rubbers he was wearing, right?
Yeah.
Dude, he goes to put the 1920 skates on. He couldn't even get 3 strides. It was like, done.
Yeah.
Because I mean, those things are basically sneakers with, steel
with a blade on them,
strapped to them. I mean,
they're like if you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame, you see the original cleats. They're just dress shoes with nails coming out of the bottom.
That's it.
And that's the coolest thing about that, though. Just see the way the game develops over the years. It's crazy nowadays.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, the website that he was talking about is excellent. They have a timeline for everything.
Oh yeah,
it really is interesting how they really do compare that to the way Cooperstown developed as far as the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm telling you, next time I get over the border, I got to stop there.
Yeah, Drew chiming in the comments said that my buddy Drew said he played a game there because they have the ice pads there. So that's pretty good. The Invista Center, I think you said.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Pretty sick. That's awesome. I mean, that's pretty good. Awesome. It would be really interesting to see the different stuff they got there.
Yeah, it would. And like I said, we got to try to play in that game sometime. Either that or we'll organize one here.
Oh my God.
18. No. I mean,
1886.
Who are you gonna? You're gonna have to get guys that actually understand the rules to do that.
That's okay.
That's gonna be hard enough.
Like we understand the rules now.
Yeah, but they do it with a vintage baseball here. They tried that in Little Falls. They did the vintage baseball. It was cool to watch.
Did that in Little Falls? I've always wanted to do that.
No, it was
really
cool.
Oh,
it was
looks
really
so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Jared's like, you guys are nuts.
No. I mean, I'll go out there to do it. But other than like trying to do it here, trying to find a referee that knows what they're doing, like no.
Right.
Well, you can't find one of those anyway, Jeremy. Come on.
Yeah, it's hard pressed enough.
What's the deal? Nothing would change.
Yeah. That's
Dave,
true.
we'll have you bone up on the 1886 rules, and you can be the referee.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it. But I would make one rule change.
Oh no.
No, let you guys wear modern skates that play under those rules.
That's
that
fair.
Way,
I mean,
no pushback.
have to.
Because there's no way you could learn how to use those skates and be safe.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, for the sake of safety, we should probably
for the sake. So for the sake of safety,
right.
Safety first. Always safety first.
I want to buy an IR for the rest of my life.
I know. Even just looking at the way those skates are made, like, because there's so much technology into skates now.
Oh, I know.
It's unbelievable. I was talking to, because I I still technically have a sales rep for Verbero. It's a hockey brand. I don't know if how familiar you guys are with it. Andy Sutton, ex-NHL player. He owns a company, and I had him on the show before, and he's just going over the technology that goes into the skates. It's like, this is just incredible. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's only excelling year after year after year after year.
Change. It's leather and a blade. What can change?
But you know what's funny is like you buy a brand new pair, say 5 years ago, right? And you finally get them broken in the way you want them, and then they're obsolete.
Yeah.
It's not even 5 years ago. You can take 2 years ago and they're obsolete.
Well, Jerry, you probably see it, especially working with the college kids. Every year, how much does the technology change in sticks?
Every year.
It seems like it changes every 6 months with the sticks. Just look at the timeline of the way sticks have changed from even the last 25 years. If you go back and look at some of the stuff they have in Kingston, oh my God.
Yeah.
You got broomsticks over there.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I can look at the sticks that I have now that I use like right now and look back at the stick that I used when I first when I got back into it. And you can just see it.
Oh, did you have the detachable head when you were younger?
I did. I actually did. I did. The old aluminum Easton.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is classic.
Hey, I had an all wood stick.
I had a Christian. I had a Christian that was all wood stick.
No, straight blade.
It's crazy to see what some of those guys were able to do with wooden sticks back in the day.
I know.
Exactly.
How Al McGinnis could snap those bombs with a wooden stick. Oh my God. Can you imagine what you do with a modern stick? Good Lord.
He'd kill somebody.
Oh my God.
But you know what's funny is they've actually asked players like him, what would you do with these sticks now? And they're like, you know what? We've tried them. You can't use them.
They don't like
because
them.
there's a complete different kick point.
Yeah, they don't like the feel. Yeah, they don't like the feel.
Mechanics is entirely different.
Yep. I mean, I was like I said, I was talking to my ex-father-in-law when at my son's practice over the week. And we were talking about the square puck and the straight blade and everything else. And he's like, I go, I couldn't imagine trying to take a wrist shot with a straight blade. He goes, most of those guys had deathly backhands. Yep. And if you think about it, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
See, that's why that's the only shot I can do. Because
the old razzle dazzle.
You should go back to the straight blade, Scotty.
I know. I might actually score in our league.
Oh, jeez.
Well, guys, why don't we take a commercial break here real quick? And but as we always do, we're going to end our segment with, you guys guessed it, Breakaway Trivia.
I don't like this question.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that.
I like it, but I don't like it.
Why? Does it make you feel old?
No. Well, yeah, in a weird way, yes.
I don't even want to hear it. I just told
you. You weren't there.
Yeah.
I haven't even said the question yet, and you feel old.
Oh,
it's like having Gump here. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
By the way, I'm hoping he's back next week, but he's playing.
I was going to say he's not here again.
Well, Shuffleboard Wednesday. I mean,
Shuffleboard Wednesday.
Yeah. So, anyways, Breakaway Trivia is brought to you by Jimmy the Iceman McNeil's children's book, The Red and White Zamboni Ice Machine. To order your copy or to get more info, email Jimmy at mac_Iceman@hotmail.com. I had to remember his email address off the top of my head. How do you like that? All right. So anyways, this week's Breakaway Trivia question is, the Hobie Baker Award is awarded annually to the NCAA's top hockey player in the nation. What was the first year they awarded that award? The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at myfunfalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
Dun, dun, dun. I love that commercial. Just can't help it. I love it.
The music is amazing.
Dude, you know what? We call you the Macho Don, but I feel like I'm like coming through a WWE entrance every time I hear that. I feel like, I should walk through that door.
Airplane walk like Scott Hall.
Yeah. Well,
hey, yo.
Today, but that's how I have been walking for the past week. But that's,
you've been hobbling around. Gimping out there like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Not quite. But anyways, let's answer our breakaway trivia question, shall we? You guys want that question again, or do you just want to go for it?
Why don't you give it to us again for the listeners at home?
All right. So the Hobie Baker Award is given annually to the top NCAA hockey player in the nation. What was the first year they gave that award out? Who wants to go first?
80-81.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was going to say, just quick plug, previous guest of the show, Mark Myers, Hobie Bake finalist. Not a big deal.
That's right.
I was going to say,
shout out, Mark.
Yeah, plug the old episodes back in the archives.
That's right.
Jared's probably. I was going to say I don't think it's as late as people would, or as early as people think it be. So I was going to guess somewhere in the early 70s. So that's a shot in the dark. I don't know.
Dave, you got a guess?
No.
Dave's like, what is the Hobie Baker Award?
I know that because I've heard it.
It's the Heisman. It's the Heisman Trophy of college hockey.
Yeah,
right.
Basically.
Yeah.
And you know what? They call him the professor for a reason because he's right. It was 81.
Oh,
he cheated.
So who was the first one? Do we know who the first one was?
Do you guys know who it was?
No.
Neil Broughton.
He didn't Google that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Neil Broughton.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I figured it wasn't like as old as you would think. But I didn't know 81's. Yeah, that's a good guess.
I knew it was it's a newer award. It's not a newer award, but I knew it's a newer award where I knew I was around. I was alive for it, but I was obviously 1 year old. But
okay, I was about to say what?
Yeah, I was alive. So
yeah,
I was certainly alive.
Jesus. Yeah. Now I feel old. Thanks a lot. That's all right.
I mean, they do say when they announce when they do the hockey awards, they do say the 40 first.
Oh,
winner
you're right. They do, don't they?
Yeah. That's how I figure. I'm like, wait a minute. It's only been 42 years. Okay, so figuring it back, it's 80-81.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
I didn't see Dave. I didn't cheat. I just do the math.
Yeah.
I just do the math.
Listen,
that's cheating right there.
Because I pay attention to the award ceremony.
Speaking of Hobie Baker, I know I'm probably getting ahead of myself. Speaking of Hobie Baker, want to remind me who won the last one?
Who won the last one?
Who's the most recent Hobie Baker award?
He was just. It's not. He's not the last one. He was just on the other night.
Who won it last year? Anyone?
Look at Don.
Well, no, Kel McCarr won, and then I'm drawing a blank.
Oh my God. Is this real? We're on a hockey show. You guys don't know who won the Hobie Baker last year?
Let's not stop talking about
Did he just play against the
and he just got dropped down to Laval.
Oh, Cole Caulfield. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
We'll get into that when we talk comic stuff.
Jeez. Oh,
you guys do your homework next time.
Yeah, I know.
He just got dropped.
Yeah.
To Laval.
You didn't know that?
So you
didn't know that?
No. He's going to be. So you're telling me he's in the odds Sunday night?
Sunday. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
and by the way, he is not happy.
No, can you imagine? I mean,
did you see he took the Canadians logo off his Instagram? Everything.
Jeremy, I'll have to send you the picture. He made it. He got dropped to Laval just in time to take the team picture.
Yeah.
His face is brutal. It's brutal.
Oh.
Hey, they're already talking about a Kravtsov for Caulfield trade.
What?
I'll take it.
You didn't see that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take that.
The rumor mill going around. Oh yeah.
I'll take it all day. That's a lot better than getting Eichel.
I'm assuming we'll talk about that because those rumors are stirring up like crazy.
Oh yeah, we can fit that in.
Some of the offers I've seen are insane.
Oh my God, it's
well,
crazy.
the latest one has the Flames in front.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, the Flames are going to have to give up this pick, that pick, and Kachuk." What? What's the point of trading for Eichel if you give up Kachuk?
Right.
I don't know.
There's no reason for it.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but what would you rather have, a franchise center or a really good winger?
I don't know. I
really
love
good
Matty
winger.
Kachuk. I'm a big fan of Matty Kachuk. I love the way he plays the game. He's so gritty. He don't care. I love it. And he's so sick.
I mean, as a Kings fan, I'd love to have him out of the division. That'd be great.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing: would you want to have a common cold, or would you want to have cancer? I mean, that's what Jack Eichel is.
Wow.
God darn.
I don't like the guy. I don't like him.
I guess we're gonna have to change. I guess we're gonna have to change it from I love Tom Wilson.
Could you imagine if I ends up with the Caps with Tom Wilson?
Reeves will have a field day then, hopefully.
They were talking about Vegas too, so I don't know what Vegas has to give up. I'm not really familiar enough with them, but
with the Vegas situation,
probably might have to get rid of Stone.
No, they can't. There's no way he moves. They were talking. They would have to give up Peyton Krebs. That's a given, right? So then, to make money work, somebody like Shea Theodore would have to go, and then the Vegas Golden Knights would have to give up like their picks for the next 3 years.
Lit up the Comets with bringing up that. By the way,
yeah.
Drew tuning in. Hopefully, Caulfield's still down. Yeah, I hope you can see him in Laval, and then Samantha can't come to the Caps.
I know he's not going there, but it was just more or less to get Jeremy going. That was the whole point of that.
You got Jeremy going. He's gone.
I wouldn't be able to do it. Jeremy got mad and signed off.
He just kicked off. He'll be there.
Him in Vegas would be really interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Can you imagine Holtz? Like I was going to say before I just got booted. Alexander Holtz and Cole Caulfield. This game just got really exciting on Sunday.
Yeah,
I mean, we're live right now, guys. There's tickets still available. Like, if you want to see two of the top guys in the AHL or NHL, I'm telling you right now, just go watch this game.
Yeah. It's going to be ridiculous. It really is. All right, so you know what? We're going to get to the comments in just a second. But first, I want to do our happy birthdays, and there's only one. There's only one this week. It's happy birthday, Marty's Illegal Stick. The show turns 1 year old on November 5th. Can you believe that? And I wish I was in the studio because I would have brought a birthday cake.
You are. You're right there.
Yeah, there I am.
There you
invisible Scott. Yeah. The invisible guy is right there.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, our first guest was Gumper. Actually, he was the first guest. Going way back. But
Gumper's the first guest. I got to go back and listen to that because I'm sure that's a riot.
It is, actually. It is. It's pretty funny. To be honest with you, Gumper talking about having to wear women's garter belts when he played hockey because they didn't have anything to hold their skates up or their socks up. Oh, yeah. Hilarious.
Kind of disappointed. My battery in my goal light died. I got to change it. Anyway. It's got all the goal horns for the league. I think it's outdated by a year or two. But.
It's all right.
I need one of them.
You know what? You know what's crazy? As I go to this bar with a couple of my buddies, it's just like a Hicktown bar, but either way, they have one of the Budweiser goal lights. Yes. You know what I'm talking about? That lights up. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I got to get one of those.
Yeah. Do they still make them?
Yeah, I think you can get them in Canada.
Of course, they got all the good stuff.
Of course,
I know, right? Well, when we do that road trip up to the original Hockey Hall,
there we go.
We'll find some place that's got that goal horn.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I don't know if anyone's reading the comments. Big shout out to my better half. It's her birthday this weekend.
Well, happy birthday!
That was very
well. She's not excited about it because she's going to be 32.
Oh yeah, 32. When
32?
She's not happy.
Yeah,
32 was a good age. I like 32.
That's what I said. It's a nice round number.
Yeah. Always round number is always a good number.
I can barely remember 32.
Well, yeah, you're what, 34, 35?
Oh yeah. Thanks, pal.
I am 35. I am 35, and yes, I'm going backwards this year.
Right. Yeah. I'm 24 for the fourth year in a row.
Well, that's safe. You are the curious case of Benjamin Button.
24 for the fourth year in a row. So that means I'll do the same thing, but that's like 18 years in a row.
Jeez. Oh God. All right. All right. We're getting way off track here.
Let's get back. Yeah. So anyways, and then, by the way, I got a little different setup going on here because I normally have my outline right in front of me, but this is, so if you see me kind of looking off to the side, the Utica Comets are now 4-0-0 after defeating the Lehigh Valley Phantoms at home on Friday. They look like they're firing on all cylinders and have a very tough challenge this weekend when they play 3 games in 3 nights. Thoughts on the Lehigh Valley game, guys? And let's look ahead to the weekend's games.
Was I the only one that was there? Jerry, you were there. You're your ice crew. Yeah, your ice crew guy. I got some thoughts. I'll be honest with you. One, I hate the simple fact that we got to have 6 games off before we play because clearly the boys were asleep for the first period and a half.
Wow,
brutal.
I thought it was only me.
Man, it was brutal.
Are we playing hockey tonight? Like, where are we?
Granted, it's still early. We're undefeated. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they had won a game yet. I mean,
no, they have not won a game yet,
and not for nothing. And it's not even like hey, they haven't won a game yet, so whatever. That doesn't. They don't have a lot of weapons. Like Philadelphia does not have a lot of weapons in their organization right now. Like they got some great pieces at the top, but the Lehigh Valley does not have a lot of good players. You know what I mean? And you can't discount anybody. I understand that, but man, they just did. It was a sloppy game. Until. What was it? 2 minutes in the second?
Yeah. And then they finally turned it on a little.
Oh, they went nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. But then the third period came around and they were like, oh, yeah, we got a game.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on here,
Right. Yeah, that was rough. I also, the attendance drives me crazy, but either way, that's for another time.
I agree. I was looking around going,
a lot of empty seats in here, boys.
But they're sold.
Is there something going on?
You know what I think part of it was, and I don't know, and I don't mean this in a negative way at all, but for me, it seemed like a lot of people who I normally hear being loud and crazy kind of kept their cool because it kind of was like a kid's night. It was like trick or treat night. So they were kind of,
it was a kid's night,
restricting themselves. And I still feel like people are, I don't know if it's like COVID or the parking situation, or there's people that still hate the fact that it's New Jersey, but then I think there's some people that just flat out don't want to go. I don't know why. That's
I don't know.
Them.
I mean, there's a lot of New Jersey fans that are in the area.
Right. That's what I figured.
Lot. Like, and just like they don't, I don't know. Like
I think I know more Devils fans than Sabres or Rangers fans, honestly.
Yeah.
I know a lot.
Might be true. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about Rangers fans. There is a lot of Rangers fans around here.
Yeah. That's what it's because there's a lot of Italians,
Gumper's coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, we're going to have a segment on how we make that connection. But
you can do it for you pretty easy.
Right? You know what, though? I mean, guys, it's early yet. I understand this. But I am telling you, I think Akira Schmid and Nico Dawes are going to be one of the best goalie tandems in the AHL this season.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but New Jersey put Wedgwood on waivers today, Scott Wedgwood.
I did not see that.
He is on waivers. So obviously we won't know until tomorrow if he clears. If he does, then obviously he's going to be sent to Utica, but he's on that California road trip with the Devils right now, and their last game isn't until Saturday against San Jose. Right. So it kind of befuddles me why they did that now, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. They're probably just going to do what they got back anyhow.
Right.
So that means Wedgwood's going to come down. So there's one of two options for the Comets. I mean, you can either send Schmidt, I guess would be the odd man out, to Adirondack, but I would think that you would keep the three goaltenders there in Utica, right?
Right.
You can't send Schmid down because he just played too well at the AHL level. Obviously, Nico Dawes is the starter in Utica. So I almost kind of see this developing if Wedgwood clears, by the way, because you know what? There are NHL teams that need some depth at goaltender. So he might get claimed, but if he doesn't, I can kind of see this turning into, say, a Corey Schneider situation with the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, right? Where he's an NHL experienced goaltender. They don't play him a lot, but he's there in the system ready if need be. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Who's what do you got? Blackwood up in New Jersey?
Blackwood and Jonathan Bernier.
So Wedgwood is going to be, if he clears. Ay, what a mess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Dawes isn't obviously going anywhere. He's going to stay here in Utica and go back and forth to New Jersey if and when need be.
Right.
Schmidt is another one that he, like you said, he's a great goaltender. There's really no reason for him to go back down. Wow.
No.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean, if they're going to carry three goalies, who do they have to get rid of someone else?
No, they don't, because there's no maximum roster limit.
There's no master.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
No max.
Jared, I like what Drew tuning in the comments right now said. Wedgwood would kind of be like a Richard Bachman kind of guy. It'd be a good experience for the younger guys, definitely. Which would be huge, especially if Nico Dawes is going to get moved up and down. I mean, that's regardless of how good you are or how well you're playing, that's a tough thing to handle. You know what I mean?
Because you don't get your rhythm.
Exactly. And he'll be able to lean and be like, hey, what do you, and they'll be able to help out. And then it's not like he's a slouch between the pipes. I mean, I'll take having him in the crease all day.
Right.
So that actually, Drew, shout out, man. That's a good point. I like that a lot. And that's something I think we've lacked a little bit in Utica too, because we've been in these weird situations where we had just like I remember Ivan Kobalkov, like we're just gonna goalie out of nowhere with no direction. And the guy's like, he's cross-checking people at the blue line. Like, dude, what are you doing? Get in the crease. What are you nuts?
Yes.
Just crazy from Belarusian coming out of nowhere cross-checking dudes. Oh. Don't get me wrong, it was fun to watch, but still, you're right. Because especially say Dawes keeps if these young guys, they're gonna plan on developing them and they're gonna be some part of a future of the organization. That's an ideal situation for them is to have Wedgwood there.
Yeah, it is. And the funniest part is remember a few weeks back we had Neil Villapiano from the Devil State of Mind podcast on. He was actually saying that the organization originally thought that Schmid might be more NHL ready than Dawes.
I remember
that was why he stayed with New Jersey, training camp longer. So the goaltending situation they have is beyond excellent, if you ask me.
Right. Yeah.
Again, a lot of hockey to be played, and these guys are very young. So I think there might be a little bit of regression coming at some point, but I don't think it's going to be much. To be perfectly honest.
Well, I'll tell you what, with Dawes playing the way he is, he's going to be breathing right down the neck of the New Jersey Devils, saying, "I want to be up here. I deserve to be up here."
Right.
Sure.
I mean, he literally he got up there, got his first NHL win, was sent right back down, then got his third win or first career shutout in the AHL or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. He looks amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And don't forget, this is both of these guys' first professional seasons in North America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dawes played a little bit over in Europe last year, and this is Schmid's first full NHL or full professional season. So, it's just a great situation to be in. So how about this weekend coming up though? Now that's going to be you got 3 and 3 nights.
Now here's the thing: are they
going
obviously
from playing once a week to?
I don't know if you're going to see Dawsey in that all 3 nights.
No, you won't. You certainly.
I mean, obviously, you probably would want to save him. Obviously, who's already seen the crunch the most already?
That would be Schmid. Schmid saw him.
So maybe Schmidt will get the smart start in Syracuse.
Yeah, because Schmid saw them for half a game in the preseason, and then he played the regular season game up in Syracuse already. So, what? I think it's going to be either a Dawes Schmid Dawes or a Schmid Dawes Schmid. Say that 5 times fast, by the way.
Dawes Schmid Dawes Schmid Dawes Schmid.
Sounds like a menu item at Haagen-Dazs or something.
I know. It is,
no, I think that's like one brutal thing the AHL does, though, as far as their scheduling. Like you can not play for a week.
Yeah, who made this schedule?
3 nights in a row. It's like, what is this?
It's like if these guys are like back in like D3 hockey again. It's like, okay, so we play every week.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
It is.
Yeah,
and you know what the worst part is too is it's not like they play Saturday night and then they turn right around and play Sunday afternoon.
Right,
it's a 5 o'clock start Sunday afternoon. So I mean, you're less than 24 hours. And you're right back out.
Yeah, but it's a 5 o'clock. It's not a 3 o'clock.
I understand that.
3 o'clock's a little different. I mean, I mean, maybe that would be the night where you're going to see the goalie change.
Yeah, I mean, you got to at some point. You'll definitely see both of them. But I just and especially having the crunch first. I mean, that's always just a bitter physical rival game, anyways.
Right.
So you're going to be going into the weekend kind of beat up. So.
Right.
I'm sure Toronto's going to come.
No, go ahead.
Toronto's going to come in hard, obviously.
Yep, for sure.
Laval's going to come in hard, obviously. I mean, and then, like you said, you got Syracuse that just is that team that just likes to, let's show these guys up and see what they got.
Yeah, and even though it's only an hour-ish, it's still a road game on Friday. So you got to travel the night before. So that still throws off a lot of your routine. What a brutal week. Oh, my God. Crunch Friday, Marley's Saturday, Laval Sunday, and then you got to play the Crunch again on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, who did this?
No, but we'll let you go 4-0. Here's your schedule.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but no, I think you're right. We'll probably get a goalie change for that. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it's probably like Scott. I think you said it like a whoever Friday and then next 2 or change that up, vice versa, because that's schedules. I mean, it's tough. It's brutal.
No, it's too bad New Jersey couldn't have put Wedgwood on waivers a little bit sooner.
I know
these guys out. Goodness.
I know.
But it is what it is.
Who's the lucky guy that's in the crease on Sunday? Has got to deal with Caulfield. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, right. And a mad Caulfield on top of it.
Yeah. Well, is he going to be mad where he's going to like, skate lights out, or is he going to be mad and like pout and not play?
This happened 2 years ago too, by the way, with freaking Montreal, because they sent down Jesperi Katanemi, and the second I saw the transaction, I go, he is going to burn us. And then he had 4 points in his first game in the AHL against us.
That's right. Forgot about that.
Awful. Yeah. Who's next? What are they going to send down next? What are we doing?
Well, I'll tell you what, though. I don't know anything about Laval. I don't really follow them that much. But as far as the Comets go, Alexander Holtz has just been incredible.
5 goals, 4 games.
Like I said, I hate to see it. I hate to say it, but I can't see him being in Utica much past Thanksgiving.
No.
I mean,
if New Jersey stays healthy, I guess it'd be like the only way. But
right.
I mean, why?
Right.
Why would you keep him? Remember, he's only 19 too.
Right.
Yeah.
So he is only. I get
a child.
He's a child. Now you're going to see Cole Caulfield come in on Sunday, and you're going to see. I don't think Cole is much older than 21, 20.
He's 20.
Is he 20?
Yep.
All right. So you're going to look at basically the same type of player. Now let's see the age difference in him. Let's see what the year of NHL with Cole Caulfield has done compared to Alexander Holtz that hasn't been there yet.
Right.
You're gonna see this. Now, obviously, Holtz, he's been clicking on all cylinders. He's getting the one-timer down. He's got the speed. He's got the shot. That puck is, as fast as that puck hits his tape, it's right back off again. Yeah. So, is he ready for the NHL jump yet? I don't know. We don't know yet because we haven't seen him play there.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, though. Every time I look at Alexander Holtz play, I think to myself, that's what the Rangers should have done with Capo Caco. At least give him a quarter to half the season to start in the AHL just to get used to it.
Right. Yeah, I still agree with you there, Scotty. And I still wish they did, but you look at him now. Now he's a completely different player. He's put on 15 pounds of muscle. Yeah. He plays a lot harder. He plays a lot stronger. He's more confident in what he's doing, and he's on the right line. He's honestly on the right line.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that line's great. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember. I think it was when they came back. I think the first time they were in the bubble, and when Capo came back, I go, "Who is this guy?"
Yes.
Like, oh my God, this is a different kid. He was huge.
Yeah, he was He's a completely different skater, and you can see it even in his stride. He's not what deer in headlights look. He knows where he's got to be, how to play, who he's on the line with, who he's playing against.
Right.
He's got the decision making before the decision is even made.
Right, and that's something that Holtz is developing too. The way he sees the ice is incredible. And Scott, maybe you and I talked about this. I can't remember if it was you at the game, but do you watch his feet when he shoots the puck?
Yes,
it's incredible.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He's like that. He's like the beginning of this generation of kids who watched Austin Matthews.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
you know what I'm saying? They do this. It's crazy. It's fascinating to watch because every single time the puck comes off his stick, it is in a completely different angle than it was the last time. It's ridiculous to watch. It's got to be awful to be a goaltender. Oh no, man, it's tough. Every time he shoots the puck, I expect a goal. I really do.
We're down there, obviously I'm down there in the well for warm-ups, and it's we'll watch Foote, we'll watch Holtz, we'll watch all these other guys, but there's always something about Holtz where you're looking and you see what he's doing. And this feet and the angle of his stick, how he shoots, he changes it almost every single shot, just trying to figure out, all right, well, does this work? That doesn't work. Let's try this one. Let's try that one. He's got so many tricks in his bag that's what are you doing? Which one are you going to use when you get it? He's a menace. You know what I mean? I go, holy, and then you add the speed to it.
Yeah.
This kid's amazing.
He doesn't even look like a big dude, and he just has so much power. I just don't understand. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun to watch, and he's going to be gone.
Great mechanic.
Hopefully not, but he's going to go.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, guys, speaking of exciting hockey at the Adirondack Bank Center, the Utica College Pioneers are ranked 3rd in the nation in the latest USCHO Division III poll. The Pioneers split a hard-fought 2-game series over the weekend against Adrian College, who are ranked 4th in the poll, by the way. So, guys, let's talk about that Adrian series, and then we'll look ahead to Arcadia and Lebanon, Lebanon Valley, who they got coming in.
Yeah,
that Adrian series was everything we thought it was going to be. I have to say,
they are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
We let him off.
As advertised.
I think Coach Heenan hit the nail. I'll tell you what, and watching that game on Saturday, because again, I couldn't go to the game, so I was stuck here. Watching it on the Empire 8 app, and all I could think of after that Saturday game was over was what Coach Heenan said. There's going to be a coach in Utica that isn't going to sleep on Saturday night. And I almost felt bad for the Adrian College coach.
I know.
Then I didn't. See,
it was not only that, when Gary mentioned, he always gets like a phone call about how his power play sucks.
I know, but they have like 7 opportunities in that game or something like that.
I don't know. Like the boys are good. Like they just got to believe in what what they got to do. They have so much talent on that roster, and they're so big. And like watching the overtime game, I was like, okay, this is exactly what we figured. Won it, took a sigh of relief, took a step back and realized, all right, did we do things right? Of course we didn't. No team ever does everything right. And then Sunday's game was like, I don't know if we let off the gas. I don't know what happened. But, I think Adrian takes their opportunity very well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were out for blood that game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, they play with great structure, too. They do. They really do. You can't take that away from them.
No. They don't give up on their game plan whatsoever.
No, they don't. And that goal that they scored Sunday, what was it, like a minute and a half left? I mean, that was a really tough angle shot that 9 times out of 10 isn't going to go in. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it goes sometimes, and it did. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, Felix the Cat, right? Felix Louis St. Jean. He didn't play bad. He didn't play bad at all. I mean, really, for a kid that's coming in, that he's a freshman, so that's his, his introduction to the college experience, so to speak. But he played both games too, which I don't know. I guess I was a little surprised. I'm not second guessing any decisions or anything like that. I was just surprised by it.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you might have a little bit of insight or any ideas to.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
I haven't reached out. I haven't mentioned anything. I haven't talked to anybody.
It's probably for the best.
I think it's. I think he's going with the hot hand.
Hand. That's what I would say too, just from an outside perspective.
I think he's.
No, I was just thinking more along the lines if there was an injury that we didn't.
I don't know.
Like that. That's what I was wondering.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the only thing that was comical was I'm sitting there with my son on Saturday night and they're doing the announcements for lineups and they have this little goalie that's 5'7" from Adrian.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And so Garrett kind of looks at me and I look at him and I go, what? He goes, Dad, their goalie's 5'7". Ours is 6'5". I go, yes, I know. Yeah. I know. He's like, that's a huge difference. And I go, yeah. And I thought, watching this little Adrian goalie skate around, I'm going, all right, he's might be the backup. I'm looking at the bigger goalie. This kid played big. I mean, he played lights out. I mean, he was a great goalie.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, the more I think about it with St. Jean, actually, it is a good idea to get the freshman early big time starts like that because think about it, he's going to be with the program for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. So the more pressure situations you can get him into, the better off down the road, really.
Well, he's a transfer in from Salve Regina too, so he's not a true freshman.
Okay, right. Well,
so he's maybe a sophomore, maybe a junior. But I mean, you're right. Like obviously Dickey's already seen all these teams. He's faced them last year. He's faced them. He's been around the program. So maybe that is it. Maybe Gary's getting him. The experience now.
Sure.
Get him out there. Get the shots on him.
Yeah.
Seeing what he's feeling.
In the event that he's in much bigger situations within the next few years, if you know what I mean. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think, and that's the other thing. In the next few years, you got Dickey graduating this year. So you got to have the next man up mentality of like, all right, listen, we're gonna have this big cat step in, and let's see what he's got. And it's not like like I've said it earlier. I believe that we're gonna run into Adrian again. We're gonna see him at some point again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Well, I'll tell you what. Dave was at that game Sunday, like we were talking earlier, and he put together an awesome video.
Yes, he did. He did.
I'm putting that on the Facebook page. I tried to talk him into incorporating into the show tonight. He's just so humble. He did not want it in there.
No, I thought it was like a little long. It was like 2 minutes, 16 seconds or something,
Yeah. That's all right.
That was a long break.
Now every game means way more. rest of the season.
Well, that's just it. I think it
this
set
weekend.
the tone. I mean, you got Arcadia is a newer program starting out. I really don't see much of an issue, I hope, with them.
Say welcome to the show, kids.
Right. I mean, Lebanon Valley is going to come in and, they're going to play as hard as they can. Again, should go 2-0 this weekend, but you never know. A team can get hot at any moment.
Right.
But yeah, I think the way it turned out, splitting the way we split was probably a good thing. Maybe having a little bit more of a gut in the stomach, the gut shot, and just saying, hey, you know what? All right, we aren't invincible here. We have to come back and now win rather than losing the first one and then winning the second one. I'd much rather win the first one and lose the second one and then go roll on into the season.
Right. No, I think they'll be all right the rest of the way. It's just, when you open up the season against, that was number 3 against number 4.
Yeah.
And it wasn't one game, it was 2. So
two back to back.
Yeah. So
and they were at weird times. They weren't at the normal 7:00 start.
No.
One was at 5:00 and the next one was at 3. So, like you said, you got to get these guys. It's not a full 24 hours. It even though you still got the home game, your gear's not 100% completely dry yet. Your muscles are still a little tight. So,
right.
But they went out there and they gave it their all, and they had a good game.
Yeah, it was a very exciting series, no doubt about that. Okay, guys, I'm going to move on to something that I'm sure you two are both going to want to talk about. It's going to be right in your wheelhouse, and you're going to love it. New York Ranger fans, rejoice. Adam Fox has signed a 7-year contract extension that carries a $9.5 million AAV. But next season, the Rangers will have $44.1 million in cap space tied up between Panarin, Kreider, Zibanejad, Trouba, and Fox. So obviously you don't want to lose Fox. It was a great idea to get him locked up. But are the Rangers going to have to start moving some young talent before they're going to want to get paid?
Young talent?
By talent, I'm meaning like Keandre Miller, Nils Lundqvist. Don't forget, Lafreniere and Capocacco are going to want to get paid eventually.
Laugh looks so good this year.
Yeah, I know. And that's the scary part, right? That's the scary
Yeah, he does.
And he's still a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I think that's now that we brought that up. First of all, shout out to Adam Fox. Buddy got paid.
Yeah, he did.
Yes,
he
did.
Couple sheets a year. Good for him.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what the kind of the comical part about that is they're paying him the same thing that Chicago's paying Seth Jones.
Man, if Chicago didn't have enough problems,
right.
Oh man, that's brutal. Yeah, he's Fox looks just as good, if not better, already this year. And he's doing everything, both sides of the ice. He's playing great defense. He's passing the puck really well. He's legitimately like an offensive threat, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He gets it. The kid's got it. He's so much fun to watch. So I'm totally happy. Now I have an excuse. I can get his jersey. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
And yeah, but I think the next guy that's going to have to get paid is probably going to have to be Lafreniere, because the kid is just.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's a stud.
Yeah,
right now.
he's a stud. So yeah, kind of puts us in a weird situation. The Rangers from the beginning, though, before this year, the only people who were on huge contracts were Panarin, Kreider, and Trouba. So yeah, we're going to keep DJ Zbad on the 1s and 2s. So I love that. Fox, love that. There's no contract that's really bad. Kreider's isn't great, but him this year is playing really well. Trouba, his contract's not great, but it could be a lot worse. It could be Seth Jones, I think.
Yeah, they still gave him 7 years, though.
I know. It's a long one. But he's...
Hey, it's not Mark Stahl.
Yes, it could be worse, I guess. So for now, it's fine. So how many more years is he under control? Do we know? I don't even know.
Trouba?
Yes.
I think he's got 6 seasons left after this one.
Yeah.
So
5 or 6,
5 or 6? Okay. And he's not, he's what? I think he's my age. He's like 27. So I'll take a couple decent more years out of Jacob Trouba. We can make a run next couple of years.
Kreider's the oldest player that the Rangers have.
Right. So.
And he's 31. 30.
Right. And they also paid, don't forget, they've paid Shesterkin already, too.
Yeah. Shesterkin's locked,
Yeah.
Which, is he human?
No. Bias aside. Sorry. All bias aside. And anyone that's going to listen to this and knows me and they're like, oh, you're just a Rangers fan. I'm not being biased. He is currently, and if not, going to be one of the best goaltenders in the league. Yeah. He just is not a human being. He does things that don't make sense.
We were on the power play last night, and they literally, the best penalty killer out there was Shesty.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Speaking of that game last night, did you see former Comet
Patrick
Demko when he lost his blocker? Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. And
he's like waving at the referee. He's like, dude.
I'm like, I go, well, one, you're not blowing the whistle because your helmet's not off, and two, like, how are we not putting the puck in the net?
I know.
How does that happen?
Oh man!
And did you see the save he made? It went off his skate blade.
Yes,
off his skate blade.
Demmer's a stud, man.
I'm like, and that's another one. It's like, we mentioned Demko, Bachman, and you had
Jacob Markstrom, who's been
and Markstrom. You had those three that were in Utica. Like,
we've had wealth at goaltending here.
Yeah, and I mean that was a goaltender's battle last night for the Rangers and the Canucks.
Demko he's a stud. He really has had some really, really, really great development. He's coming along good, which is which you would think. I mean, if you're a Canucks fan, which I follow him a little bit, obviously just from liking the Comets. It doesn't matter now, but I've been the last couple of years losing Markey, and then you're like, what do we do? And then they brought in Holtby, which obviously didn't work out. But now Demko's like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. It's crazy. It's crazy to see. Yeah, but Shesterkin, top 5 goaltenders in the league.
Yeah, easy.
I
mean, he's just the saves that he's making and the way he's doing it. Like, it's just.
Have you guys seen, Jared? You might have seen it. I don't know how much you watch MSG, Scott, but have you seen the way they've been showing the way he moves in the crease with his skate on the edge?
The Shesty,
the Shesty
swivel,
the Shesty swivel, whatever they call it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I've talked to a few goalies around here, and I mentioned that to them, and they're like. They look at me and they're like, come on, really? You're really not going to fall for that? And I'm like, fall for what? Like, that's something that's been trained for years.
Right.
And I'm like, what? He goes, just because somebody now brings it up, you think it's like it's the first time anybody's ever done it? He goes, no. He goes, everybody does it. They just do it in their own way. And with Shesty doing it, he has so much power doing it.
Right.
That's what's making him be the notable guy doing it.
Right.
I mean, the Shesty swivel, I saw it, I go, wow, that is pretty unique. Like I've never seen it, but
I've never noticed it. Yeah, I don't know.
Have I. And all these other goalies are like, yeah, that's been done all the time. I'm like, huh? What? But I wasn't a goalie. I've never been a goalie. I don't want to be a goalie.
Okay. Like, if everybody's been doing it, they're just not doing it as good as him.
Right. And that's I'm like, I go, well, now it's being noticed because obviously he's like killing it with this move.
It's like Marty Turco putting his hand the other way on the stick and passing the puck. Nobody had ever done that before. But he moves cross crease. It's incredible.
It's incredible how fast
I know.
I don't know what he did last night on that breakaway save with Miller. I mean, he lost it between his legs, yes.
Right.
But I had visions of Lundqvist like coming out of the net all the way over to the side and then just being lost. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. Get back in the net. And he did, burned us, but I mean, Chesty's he's incredible.
Yeah. So you throw that into the mix for their payroll. I'm sorry. You got to drop in the Ryan Reeves contract too. Don't forget that. They already extended him for some reason.
I know, right?
Yeah, because we need that enforcer that hasn't gotten into a fight yet.
Right. I figured we'd be too deep by now.
He has none. I mean, he's drawn a shit ton of penalties, but other than that, he hasn't fought anybody.
Yeah, he's saving the first one for home games.
I hope.
And you know what?
It's like, come on.
You know what's really surprising too is that Shesterkin really hasn't been getting any run support because the Rangers' offense is bottom half of the league right now. Yeah, surprisingly enough.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I
mean, that's
Panarin and Zibanejad are kind of off to slower starts compared to for them at least. Panarin, he always starts out slow, and Zibanejad kind of does too. But
did you see how aggravated Panarin was getting last night?
Yeah,
I think he was about ready to throw his stick halfway across Vancouver in one sequence there.
Right.
Yeah. He took like 7 shots on goal and just nothing would go. That was actually where Demko made that skate save. It was off Panarin.
Yeah.
Where he had no glove.
And he's just looking. He's like, "You got to be kidding me! This is
guy can buy a goal right now."
He's got the Zibanejad curse from last season.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Zibanejad started. He was rough last year.
Yeah.
It's not
good. But then all of a sudden something.
Well, that's the thing is those two guys, they turn it on like at the drop of a hat, kind of. It's crazy. Like Panarin, and again, this is going to sound biased, but I really do think he's one of the best players in the league. Like he does, his hands don't make any sense.
right.
You know what I mean? He's just a guy can do whatever he wants out there, basically.
Yeah.
And then Zibanejad, for me, honestly, I think Zibanejad sometimes just gets in his own head too much.
Oh,
I really do. I think he's a big mental guy.
He has to be.
Because
I mean, he's got it, and it's like you see him out there, and all of a sudden it's like, what were you doing on that? Like,
right.
And on a wide open shot, he'll pass it. It's like, all right, you're in your head. Like you can see it.
Right. And the year they got shut down, not last year, but the year before that, the second half of the season, Zibanejad averaged more points per game than any player in the NHL.
Yeah.
Even more than Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah.
So he can do it.
He can do it. Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't get it. Yeah. I just don't get it. It's like, hey guys, you all got paid now, so just go and do it. Like
I know.
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Go.
Go be free.
Stop, don't worry about what your contract's going to be. It's already done. Go.
Yeah. It drives me crazy.
And that's we were talking about the contracts with Kreider, Zibanejad, Panarin, and Trouba. Well, the one that's been the most consistent is Kreider.
Right.
I mean, he's been that guy that he's got the power, the size, and the speed. He'll sit in front of the net, and he'll just get that goal. Like that's what he does.
That tip he had against Seattle was gorgeous.
Oh, that was a beauty.
Crispy. Chef's kiss. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Well, you know what, guys? I think we're going to end this segment since you're so happy, and we'll let you. Anyways, before we go, there was one other thing I wanted to say about the Comets, and I just remembered what it was. Just to go back to that really quick. Did you realize that they far and away had the least amount of chances on the power play this season? They only have 7.
Really?
I mean, I know they've only played 4 games, but it's not even close. If you look,
boys, we got to draw some penalties.
Yeah, if you look at the AHL stats for overall.
You figured they would with the speed that they have.
Yeah. In 4 games, they've only been on the power play 7 times. It's ridiculous.
Jesus. How many penalties have we taken?
Not much. Not much at all. It's I want to say they've taken 12. Something like that. It's not bad. It really isn't. It's just the refs apparently swallow the whistles when the Comets are playing. So
yeah, well, they gave up like 3 penalties in a row the other night.
Yeah, well,
oh my God, we were on the kill for like 7 straight minutes.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
but they still haven't given up a power play goal either.
Love that.
Jinx it, but you know,
thanks,
I swear
Scotty.
to God.
Thanks, Scotty.
Yeah. Well, all right, that'll be my fault. That'll be my fault. So, anyways, now we're gonna end the segment so that you guys can be the good guy, and I'm gonna be the one that gets run out of the valley. But that's okay. We're going to end it like we always do with Website of the Week. Website of the Week is brought to you by 315hockey.com. 315hockey.com is your news hub for all levels of hockey in Central New York. This week's Website of the Week is Original Hockey Hall of Fame. I'm going to give Larry and the boys another plug. It's a great website. You got to check it out. So anyways, that's our Website of the Week. We're going to take our last commercial break, and when we do come back, we're going to take a ride on that Zamboni Time Machine. We'll see you in a minute.
Need to find that gift for someone special? Visit Little Falls Presents at the Stone Mill and Canal Place. Stop by today to find unique artist work, t-shirts, coffee cups, gift towels, greeting cards, tote bags, koozies, and original oil paintings and prints. It's all about the art of the gift. For more information, visit mylittlefalls.com/shop or call 315-508-5310 for details.
All right, and we're back. Segment 3 is the Zamboni Time Machine. It's firing up. Can you hear it? The Zamboni Time Machine is brought to you by Zamboni.com, and the Zamboni name is used with permission. This week, the Zamboni Time Machine takes us back to 1977 in the last season of perhaps hockey's most eccentric goalie, Gilles Gratton. I know it's a stretch, right? An eccentric goalie, imagine that. But
aren't they all?
Yeah, pretty much. Gilles Gratton never wanted to be a hockey player. In fact, he didn't really like the sport at all. Gratton really wanted to be a monk, but fate can be funny sometimes, and as fate would have it, he was a pretty darn good hockey player. After starring in junior hockey, he played a few seasons in the World Hockey Association before winding up with the New York Rangers for the 1976-77 season. It was there that his eccentricities really came to light. Gratton believed in reincarnation, as he believed he was once a Spanish count who threw rocks at commoners during biblical times. He also believed he lived. Yeah, it's true. He also believed he lived past lives as a 19th century British surgeon, a 17th century Spanish landowner, a 14th century Indian hobo, and a 12th century sailor. He also believed that the abdominal pains he suffered were from a result of being stabbed by a lance during the Spanish Inquisition. Can't make this up, guys.
Sounds like you should be at Bellevue.
Graton also had a habit of hanging around and naked in the locker room after practice, and he actually even skated and practiced naked once too. And he was ordered by management not to take the ice naked for the Rangers' last game of that season. He really wanted to. Graton once refused to play a game because the moon and Jupiter were not lined up correctly. One season of the man known as Gratuni the Loony was all the Rangers could take. After a run-in with management, he was released and he never played pro hockey again. He moved to India for a while and also reportedly lived in an abandoned castle in Europe. And that, my friends, concludes this trip on the Zamboni Time Machine.
Wow. That's awesome.
Goalies
are weird.
Once again, it's a goalie.
Goalies are weird. Exactly. Well, look at Tim Thomas. He's living in a bunker.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah. When the Bruins did a group stream watching the 2011 Cup. They had to like satellite him in from like the mountains.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
him and Ricky Williams.
Listen, he wants to be away or prepared.
I guess.
I can't say you blame him. The guy living in the castle. You wouldn't live in a castle?
I would love to live in a castle.
I feel like you'd be drafty.
Yeah, probably kind of creepy at night too, I'd imagine, right?
Feel a little drafty. Yeah, a little creepy. I don't know.
Which one's going to be? I mean, you got the guy that has been a part of all these different eras that obviously hasn't been a part of one of those eras. I mean, what's creepier?
Good point. Good point.
Know, right?
It suits him, I think.
Maybe he thought it was his house.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought for a second he was talking about me.
Well, is there something you want to tell us?
Dave, I was going to say, Dave, what were you in the past life? We got to know.
I wondered where he was going with that.
Yeah, this entire time, I thought Dave the Save was just kind of like convenient for hockey. Is there something you need to tell us?
Depends. No, you don't say that word at this age.
Follow us on social media, folks.
You can't get this anywhere else.
Awesome.
Boy. Well, I'll tell you what. I think we're going to end it on that note because you cannot beat Dave the Save talking about his depends. There's no way possible.
No.
So
I'll skate naked for you, Scott, just to prove I don't.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah. I get to see this game we're playing and just got 17 times more interesting.
I think the moons have just aligned.
I think so.
I'll show you the dark side of the moon anytime.
Okay.
So, boys, I'll see you this weekend, eh?
Yeah, no more visuals on that one. We want to thank you.
We are in no way associated with the original Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I know. We just got a cease and desist letter. This is great.
Disclosure.
Yeah.
But we want to thank Larry Paquette for coming on to talk to us. You can find us online at martysillegalstick.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast. You can find us on YouTube on all major podcast platforms under My Little Falls. So, for Dave the Save Warner, for Jeremy the Professor Roberts, and for the Macho Dom Real, I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week.